Imagine being the man personally responsible for the president's security, and then being the very voice that announces his overthrow. Imagine going from a military barracks in Nigeria to the gavel of the United Nations General Assembly. This is the story of the soldier diplomat who didn't just play the game of power, he redefined it. This is the life and times of Major General Joseph Nanven Garba OFR, popularly known as Joe Garba. Our story begins not in the corridors of global power, but in the small town of Langtang, on the Jos Plateau, home to the Tarok ethnic group in north-central Nigeria. It was Saturday, July 17, 1943, when Joseph Nanven Garba entered this world, a boy destined to walk between the worlds of war and peace. His journey started with a pencil, not a rifle. In 1952, he began his education at Sacred Heart School, Shandam. But the call to service was strong, and in 1957, he traded his school books for the discipline of the Nigerian military school in Zaria. By 1961, he had enlisted in the Nigerian army, and soon after, he was sent across the Atlantic to the Mons Officer Cadet School in Aldershot, England. In 1962, he was commissioned as an infantry officer. His early career was a master class in command. Platoon commander in the 44th Battalion in 1963. Company commander the same year. Motor platoon commander in 1964. But his horizon was already broadening. In 1965, he served as a UN military observer in India and Pakistan, a taste of the international stage that would later become his domain. By 1968, he was commander of the Brigade of Guards, and in 1973, he polished his strategic mind at the Staff College in Camberley, England. And then came the moment that would etch his name in Nigerian history, with a twist so sharp it could cut glass. On Tuesday, July 29, 1975, the nation gathered around their radios. The voice that crackled through the speakers belonged to Joseph Garba. He delivered the broadcast announcing the coup d'etat against General Yakubu Gowon. Now, here is the irony that history cannot ignore. Garba was the commander of the Federal Guards, the elite corps directly responsible for the personal security of the very leader he was helping to depose. The man trusted to protect the head of state was the man who announced his fall. It was a betrayal wrapped in duty, a moment that demanded a soldier's nerve and a diplomat's calm. But Garba was not a man of one act. Following the coup, in 1975, he was appointed Nigeria's foreign minister, the Federal Commissioner for External Affairs. He led the Nigerian delegation to the UN General Assembly, and by January 1978, he was wielding the gavel as president of the UN Security Council. Yet, he never stopped learning. In July 1978, he became commandant of the Nigerian Defense Academy, before jetting off to the National Defense College in New Delhi, India. Then came a fellowship at Harvard University's Kennedy School of Government, where he earned a master's in public administration. Between 1984 and 1989, he returned to the UN as Nigeria's permanent representative. He chaired the UN Special Committee Against Apartheid and the Committee on Peacekeeping Operations. Then, in September 1989, he reached the pinnacle, President of the United Nations General Assembly for the 44th session. This was no ceremonial role. During his tenure, on Monday, November 20, 1989, the Convention on the Rights of the Child was adopted into international law via Resolution 44/25. Children around the world owe a debt to this Nigerian general. He also presided over the 16th, 17th, and 18th special sessions on apartheid, drug abuse, and international economic cooperation, becoming one of the most prominent Nigerian diplomats the world has ever seen. In 1992, he directed the Southern African Peacekeeping and Peacemaking Project in New York, focusing on post-apartheid reconciliation until 1995. He then shifted his energies to democratic governance, serving as Director and Senior Research Fellow for Sub-Saharan Africa. And in October 1999, he returned home to become Director General of Nigeria's premier policy think tank, the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPSS, in Koru, Jos. Throughout his life, Garba didn't just participate in history, he wrote it down. He authored 3 principal books: Revolution in Nigeria, Another View, Diplomatic Sojourning, Nigerian Foreign Policy, 1975 to 1979, and The Honor to Serve, Reflections on Nigeria's Presidency of the 44th UN General Assembly. These aren't just memoirs, they are blueprints of a nation's struggle and triumph. But every stage has its final act. On Saturday, June 1, 2002, the curtain descended on his earthly stage, and with one last, dignified bow, he made his exit at the age of 58. The New York Times captured his duality in a headline on Wednesday, June 5, 2002, with Paul Lewis writing, Joseph Garba, 58, a Nigerian coup plotter and, later, a diplomat. He left behind his wife, Evelyn Okon-Edem, one son, and 5 daughters. But he also left behind a legacy that bridges the gap between military might and diplomatic grace, a rare soul who proved that the warrior and the peacemaker can inhabit the same body. Joseph Garba's life reminds us that true leadership isn't about the uniform you wear or the seat you occupy, it's about the humanity you carry into every room. From the dusty plains of Langtang to the marble halls of the United Nations, he never forgot who he was or where he came from. He served his country, his continent, and the world with honor, intellect, and an unshakable sense of duty. His story is not just Nigerian history, it is a global lesson in resilience, reinvention, and grace. If you found this story as inspiring as we did, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another deep dive into the lives of Africa's unsung giants. Share this video with someone who needs to know that your past does not define your future, your choices do. Thank you for watching, and remember, every great exit is just a bow before the next act.